Right then, we have the RTX 3060 graphics card set up at the moment. We are busy loading Horizon Zero Dawn. It does take quite a while for it to load on the first load anyways, because it's optimizing the hardware. So I haven't done any graphics drivers updates, but I believe it does have one of the newer drivers for the RTX 30 series cards anyways on the setup. So I'm going to do a nice little test. Everything so far seems to be working, the card's working and everything. I do prefer my fans to stay on, but I believe these cards do just turn on once it gets to a certain temperature. So I will come back in a moment with hopefully some benchmarks. I'm not sure if this actually has a benchmark system, or I might have to install Afterburner and just give it a run with the FPS up in the top corner. But I'll be back in a moment, so see you then. Right, this is going to be the first stress test of the RTX 3060 graphics card inside the mini PC that's going inside the deluxe control panel. Basically, everything is locked on ultimate quality, ultra settings, high settings. I think reflections is high, maximum. Everything is set to maximum settings. This is only a 60 Hz monitor at 1080p. So we'll have the RTX 3060 graphics card all plugged in, all ready to go to do this benchmark test. So hopefully we'll get some nice frames there. So I believe it's the right stick to run the benchmark. And while the screen is recording, I'll just keep an eye on the graphics card fan because it turns on while it is warm. So it's off at the moment. It's just switched on now. Don't know if you can see that, but we had a little bit of frame stutter there. But that could also be because it is running from a mechanical hard drive, the game. So it's not on an SSD. The GPU fan is still spinning, but it doesn't seem to be getting any faster. It just seems to be nice and stable. The power supply isn't really getting warm at all. CPU seems to be staying relatively cool. seems to be running a lot smoother the longer it's been running. Barely see any stutters what we had when it first started off the benchmark. Seems to be playing through nicely, nice and smooth. And that's it. So the average FPS seems to be 59, which is 60, we'll call it 60 FPS there, and minimum is 11, so that's possibly when we're seeing frame drops. We do have like I say, the GPU's running at 60, so we're looking at basically looking at the 60 FPS on that system, on that game, and then we'll have that max up on 130. So I'll have to go back and do a test on the RTX 2060 graphics card on this game at ultimate quality, and then maybe do a high settings. So what I might do is just go to favor quality setting, apply that, and then just give that a second benchmark test. I'm not going to do too much today because I've been in work all day, just come back into work, and I just want to go home and chill out. So I'll run this test, see what we get. But I quite like that. That's nice running this game, which is a fairly new game, and highly demanding game at that, at a solid 60 FPS, and then I think I've run this at max on my RTX 3090, and I think I only got about 80-90. I'm not sure, I'll have to do a test at home. But we've also got to factor in that it is running from a mechanical hard drive as well. And the fan has stopped again on the GPU. Temperature seems okay, but I will have to install Afterburner. A lot less stuttering on the second run. Yeah, if I install maybe Afterburner, or what's the other one to measure FPS settings and temperature and stuff. I think Afterburner does most of it. So if I run one of the Afterburners or Precision X or one of those softwares in the background, and then keep an eye on those temperatures, and then what I'll do is I'll do another benchmark test of when I've put it inside a unit, all set up. There seems to be really nice exhaustion coming from the back of that GPU. Not too warm. It's warm, but not too warm. I think we may be okay putting this GPU inside a deluxe control panel. The power supply, it's still quite cool in areas on the power supply. I think there's more heat, to be honest, coming from the CPU itself, because it's on that side, but the rest of the power supply is fairly cool. At the moment, I am happy the way everything is looking. I couldn't really ask for better, to be honest. I could make it better, a lot better, by tweaking and fiddling around with the unit. But all will tell once I get the custom shell built for it. The second run is really smooth. I haven't seen really a stutter in there. Nice and smooth. And like I say, this is a highly demanding game as well. It looks like it is sort of locking me FPS to 60. So 59 is average FPS. It seems to be locking it. I don't know if VSync is maybe enabled. I would likely say VSync is enabled, because it looks like it's starting on 121 FPS and it drops it down and keeps it stable at that 60 FPS. I believe the stutters we're seeing earlier is more on the CPU side of things, which is, it's good, man. It's really good. I reckon if I keep it at maximum settings, I mean, there's no reason why I shouldn't be running that game at maximum settings at 60 FPS. The display, let's have a look. VSync is on. What I'll do is I'll disable VSync, but I find a lot of games now, having it locked at 60 FPS and VSync on is better than having it even at 120 FPS and stuff. If it depends on your monitor. If you haven't got a G-Sync monitor, you will receive a lot of image tearing. VSync helps that out, and especially with TVs and stuff. If you end up running this through a TV, you're gonna want less of that image tearing and stuff. So let's reapply that, hit it back up to ultimate quality, and then give that benchmark a run. And I'll make this my last benchmark for today, because it does take quite a while. And let's see how uneven the FPS is with VSync off. I know sometimes it can jump up and down quite a lot on with VSync disabled on a lot of games. So let's just take a quick look. But we may experience, especially on this monitor, like I was saying just a moment ago, a lot of image tearing. Benchmark is taking quite a little while to load there. I don't know if it's actually froze again. Right. So we're in. A lot of the texture stuff loaded in quite quick. Fans turned on the GPU. It's exhausting that heat nicely. I can start hearing a fan now on this third benchmark test on the GPU. It's not terribly loud at all, but I can hear it more. It's spinning a lot faster. Does look quite smooth. graphics card is exhausting the heat lovely on this GPU. That fan on the GPU is exhausting that heat nicely. I mean, I can touch the back plate of the GPU without it feeling too hot to the touch as well. I can feel the nice warm air exhausting out that lovely. Obviously, putting it inside the shell itself is going to cause a lot more heat build up, but having a fan in the center of the unit, obviously heat rises as well, so having the fan in the center exhausting the heat out should exhaust it out quick enough. Obviously people playing extensive games, they may get quite warm eyes while playing, but it's only going to really heat up when they're playing games like this, which they'll be sat down playing anyways, so it's not going to be, that's not going to be an issue. Fighting games and stuff like that, which aren't graphically intensive at all, it's not going to really make a difference. And the fan only turned on when on a real stress test on a high-end game. Slight bit of image tear in there during movement and stuff, but I expected that with this monitor. That looks quite smooth. So average FPS on that is 77. As you can see, it's up and down quite a bit, but it is staying over that 75 mark. So it is staying over that 75 mark. It just goes under during the benchmark there, about just before halfway through it drops right down, but that stays above 30 FPS. But I believe locking it with VSync at 60 FPS would be the better option, just for a bit smoother gameplay, and obviously customers may be adding it to a TV or monitor or just a standard monitor, but that's good. I like it. Really happy with that. I know someone's going to be hopefully watching this video and excited to see that it all seems to be working fine. Like I say, not finished yet. I do have to put it inside a deluxe control panel and then bolt everything down, lock in that heat and then exhaust it out with that center fan, and then hopefully after a good stress test of the unit, running benchmarks, having it run quite a while. I mean, I've run 3 benchmarks there and I'm still getting nice FPS, got nice cooling coming from the back of the GPU. Power supply is nice and cool as well. It's warming up maybe a little bit, but like I say, it is quite close to the CPU itself, so that might just be the heat building up from the CPU. CPU seems quite cool to the touch as well. So I'll stop rabbiting on. I'm going to stop the video and head home. So like, share, subscribe to the videos, hit that notification bell and leave a comment below. Let us know what you think of a 16 terabyte deluxe arcade control panel. It's completely insane, man. It's going to be the next step in arcade gaming, especially for home arcade gaming, and then you're going to have everything in place just in a nice arcade control panel. Plug and play. You can carry it around, move it from one room to the next. Don't have to hawk around a massive arcade machine or a bar top. So these are going to be perfect. Hopefully they do extremely well. Obviously PC parts and the PC parts for these aren't going to be cheap. You're not going to pay maybe just a grand and a half and pick something up like this. You're going to be paying quite a few grand for a unit like this, but it is going to be ideal. So I'm excited to get one built. I'm also hopefully have a buyer already in hand for this unit with this GPU. So like, share, subscribe, and I will see you later. Bye.